with his private area out. Yeah, and she had to end the session completely.
Virtual learning gone horribly wrong. Baltimore City School officials say the beginning of the year has been marked by Zoom bombers disrupting and disturbing children.
In fact, one mother told Fox 45's Katie Kairos she witnessed a man exposing himself in her daughter's class last week.
It is a story you're seeing first on Fox. Katie.
That's right, Mary and Kai. City Schools is not the only district dealing with Zoom bombers. It is happening across the country, but officials here say they know that their virtual classrooms were less secure than they needed to be to start the year, and that allowed intruders to come into kids' classrooms and commit obscene acts.
Ew, you know, she was like, ew, what is, ew? As any child, any little girl would, just a random. That's really not cool at all.
Angelique O'Banner was logged on to a Frederick Elementary School class with her 4th grade daughter when a naked man suddenly joined them on screen.
Some guy came in with his private area out. Yeah, and she had to end the session completely.
O'Banner is thankful for the teacher's quick actions. She says her daughter was alarmed.
Teachers was calling us individually. You know, did you see that? I'm so sorry, you know, that kind of thing. So it wasn't just us, it happened in other schools as well. So I don't know what's going on or why these people want to do that, but it's not cool.
And something very abnormal or even horrible happens, you need to know from us.
Spokesman Andre Riley says Zoom bombing was a widespread problem in city schools for the first week and a half.
It was a significant problem of individuals getting those classroom codes, and then they're showing up and they're behaving poorly, or they're doing things that are just flat out illegal.
That's because the Zoom classrooms were not secure, as administrators tried to make it easier for students to log on.
For the first week or so of school, we allowed students to access their classes on Zoom without having to sign in. You know, the most generic way possible.
After the indecent exposure, City Schools instituted a new policy as of September 17th. Now, students and teachers must log in with their district credentials.
And when they sign in, then we're able to mitigate that through increased security measures.
Well, City Schools officials say as far as tracking this man or prosecuting him for exposing himself, that would be hard to do because they were using public Zoom links for the beginning of the school year. So that means there's no way to know whether this man was connected to a staff member or a student and got the link through an email that was sent out to students, or whether he was simply a hacker that hacked into the virtual classroom.
People opting to vote by mail will be getting their ballots soon if you haven't already. In some states, voting is already underway. And starting next week, election leaders in Maryland can start counting. Mackenzie Frost joins us live to explain how long it could take before we know the winners. Let's talk about after Election Day at least.
Yeah, Mary, that's right. You know, as of today, we actually just got some new numbers. Nearly 935,000 people in Maryland have requested to vote by mail this upcoming election. Some experts are saying even if we do see some results on election night, it could be a while before we see the full picture. Voter turnout and mail-in participation expected to be high for November's election. Local election boards can start counting ballots October 1st, setting Maryland up to have some numbers to report.
So we will have results on election night.
Nikki Carlson, Deputy Elections Administrator, says there will be several sets of results reported November 3rd.
Once the polls close, we will be releasing results of early voting. And we will release results of the mail-in ballots that have already been counted.
Because we will have some results doesn't mean it will be over on election night.
Because of all the mail-ins, it's going to take a long time to count the ballots. And there are also going to be a lot of court challenges to whatever results may have been reported.
It wouldn't be the first time we've had to wait to find out those final results. George Bush and Al Gore in 2000 taking their presidential fight to the U.S. Supreme Court. Johns Hopkins political science professor Benjamin Ginsburg outlines several potential outcomes, from legal challenges to challenging the Electoral College votes themselves and governors selecting winners from their states.
If this happens, we are in serious trouble. Fingers crossed, none of these things will happen, but I think we need to be ready for them. These things really, really could happen. It would be much worse than Bush versus Gore, much worse than the Chads in Florida, because, you know, Al Gore at the end of the day stood down. That wouldn't happen here. No one who, neither Trump nor Biden, would accept anything but an utterly clear-cut victory.
So remember, we'll likely have some results come election night, but there still is a 10-day window for those mail-in ballots to arrive to still be counted. So the results that we do see on election night could change once that final ballot is counted.